Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the States Insider's Guide to College in Europe. I'm Jamie, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today for this information session with Beyond the States. Whether you're a student, parent, or advisor, I'm here to give you some more information and insight into opportunities for you to get your degree abroad. Here at Beyond the States, we aim to be a resource for students seeking undergraduate and graduate programs in Europe. Our mission is to provide transparent and accurate information about degrees abroad. We stand out by being an unbiased organization that does not take any commission from schools where our members attend. Beyond the States also stands out by offering a variety of programs from DIY to personalized guidance, along with helpful resources to help students navigate the often scary process of finding the right program, school, and country to attend. Our extensive database provides detailed information about program options, admissions requirements, tuition costs, and even cultural insights. Did you know that you can get your degree for cheaper in Europe and graduate a year earlier? I'm Jamie, your host. I've worked in the study abroad sector for 6 years, and I currently spend my time between Ireland and Thailand. I'm originally from Canada, but I moved to Ireland in 2019, where I spent a few years, living and working in Ireland. And then I got an opportunity to move over to Thailand for my partner's business. So I end up splitting my time between the two countries now. I've been working in the study abroad sector for about 6 years now, and I love it. I love helping students like you guys, achieve your dreams and your goals of studying abroad. So I'm really excited to share more information about getting your degree abroad with Beyond the States today. So as I mentioned earlier, you can usually get your degree for cheaper in Europe and graduate a year earlier. A lot of people know this, but they might not know why. So university programs in Europe tend to be much more low cost because Europe actually considers education to be a right rather than a privilege. So they have the feeling that if their population is educated, that contributes to society, just pushing their country forward. So that's why these EU countries tend to make it a priority to subsidize college education and promote a stronger workforce, which will then pay taxes as a productive citizenry. So typically a European country will recover college expenses after 9 years, even when you factor in that many students are international. So here at Beyond the States, like I said, we help students find the right programs for them. We have nearly 10 years of experience doing this. So our founder, Jen, when she started the program, she actually wanted to send one of her teens to Europe for a degree abroad. And she really noticed a lack of resources, a lack of information. So she's compiled this database and just wanted to specialize in helping students. So that's where we are now. Hey, so just a quick question for everyone watching today. Which European country are you most interested in studying in? You might be surprised, you might not be surprised, but at the moment, our top placements for students tend to be in the Netherlands as a top destination, Czechia, Sweden, France, and Germany. So we do focus on non-Anglophone countries, so you get a more exciting cultural experience, but we also have a lot of programs in countries like Ireland and the United Kingdom. So if you did want to go to an English-speaking country, we do have programs that you can take a look at there as well. So what are the benefits of getting your degree in Europe? A lot of people work with us to find their programs and their degrees in Europe for a variety of reasons. I'd say the top reason why people do come to work with us is definitely for the tuition benefit that they would get. So it's significantly cheaper than in the US. Apart from that, the degrees are recognized by employers and graduate schools in the US, which is fantastic. Cost of living is usually lower in Europe as well. Some people might be drawn to, the cultural experience and the cultural immersion and getting to live somewhere else and experience another culture. Even though the programs are in English, some students might like the idea of learning another language. So even if their program is in English, if they're submerged in another country, they'll be able to, learn another language as well. So some of our popular destinations would be France. It has some really unique programs and some great food there. And Netherlands has really high quality education, so that's why a lot of people would like to go there. And Italy is another one of our popular destinations. So they tend to have stunning campuses and, just the opportunity to travel around Italy and try all the different food and see all the different sites. That tends to be a big draw for people. Just to give you guys a better idea of the tuition, so I've actually listed here what it might cost for you to go and get your degree in the Erasmus University, okay? So total tuition would be about $64,000 US per year. Okay. If we compare that with some schools in the US like Middlebury you might be looking at, 268,000, and UNC Chapel Hill, you might be looking at 157,000. So it is, that is quite beneficial. Very, very good, something to look for. So are schools in the EU as good as in the US? So we get asked this quite often, okay? And I think it's because people in the US usually assume a very high quality of education there because of these traditional ranking systems that American schools have. The lack of these in Europe might be why people are asking this question, okay? So we've actually decided to create our own kind of ranking system, which is authored exclusively by Beyond the States, and that focuses primarily on school and program factors that really matter to international students. So some of the things that we're looking for and taking into consideration when we're doing our rankings is availability of English taught degrees, affordability for international students, employability record, and economic mobility. So we want to make sure that once you've completed the degree, that there are, people have gone on and gotten jobs after completing these, okay? We look at student life quality for international students. We also make sure that international student supports are in place at these schools. We look for strong student reviews, international exposure, and we also look at safety and livability of locations. So all in all, the schools on our ranked lists made it there because they seem to come up and up again for us. So either when we're creating best fit lists for students, or when we're making features for our programs of the month, or that they generally appeal to a large number of our members. So that's why we include those schools. So they uniquely, consistently meet the criteria that we've carefully devised after years of experience in the field of English taught degrees in Europe. So how can we help you? So researching perfect programs on your own can be a daunting process that can take months, especially if you've never done it before. And you're trying to find information on Google, you're trying to look things up yourself. It can be quite challenging to find things. A lot of schools, their websites might not be the easiest to navigate, I've noticed, so there is quite a bit of digging that needs to be done. So programs in Europe all have different requirements, and we've learned all of these through our years of experience and through our members community. So this is where our team comes in. So we can help you through every step in the process to find your dream program. And today I'd like to highlight our Guaranteed Admission Service, which is a top choice among our students. So the Guaranteed Admission Service has everything you need to get your bachelor's or master's degree abroad, including a personalized best fit list. So the best fit list is a list of 3 to 5 programs that we'll curate for you. So what we would do is we would get you to fill out a really detailed intake form where we ask you questions about your academic record, about which courses you're interested in taking in university, which areas of study you're interested in, if you want to go to big cities, small cities. So we really go into detail. So we ask you to fill that out, with as much information as possible. Then you also get 3 consultation calls with us. So usually you would take the first one at the time of submitting your intake form so that we can go through it together, and if we need any more information from you, we can get it at that point. Then we usually do the second call after we've created your best fit list. So we'll be able to go through all of the programs together, and if you have any questions about anything like that, you can ask us in the call. Then we usually do a third call that you can take, maybe when you're ready to apply and you have some more questions, you can always take the call at that point with us. So it's really up to you when you want to schedule that last one. We also have in the Guaranteed Admissions access to self-paced college admissions courses. So you'll be able to go in, we've recorded plenty of online courses, how to choose a degree in Europe, what it's like to study in the Netherlands, or just some topics that we have. So you can go and work your way through all of the self-paced online courses. There's also access to our private Facebook group, which is really an invaluable resource. So it's a Facebook group that has members, families, students who have done this or who are doing it at the moment, who are actually living this, and they're sharing their experience in this group. So it's an invaluable resource. You have a built-in community when you join with this package. We also have a community forum Q&A. We also offer motivation letter review with this package. So once it's time to submit your application, you actually will need to complete a motivation letter to submit with your application. So we'll actually review this for you to make sure that it's suitable for the school that you're applying to. We also offer lifetime access to the database. So you'll be able to access our database at any point. This is really great. If you are doing your bachelor's and in the few years you want to go to your master's, you always have our database to come back to. So our community says it all. as I mentioned in the previous slide, you will have access to our Facebook community, okay? So these are just some examples of posts that our community has shared in the group. So it's pictures of them visiting places in Europe, settling in. So it's great. You'll be welcomed into the community immediately, and you'll be able to join in on all sorts of discussions about places to rent, to live, what are good programs, good things about different countries. People talk about what's the best phone plan to get, what the best insurance plan to get is. So it's a really good and active community that is just such a great resource. So how can we help you? So next steps would be for you to check out our services in more detail, okay? You're welcome to go on our website and take a look at the different packages and a la carte options that we're providing at the moment. If you have any specific questions we can help with, you can always send us an email to go@beyondthestates.com. For a limited time only as well, you can use our promo code webinar500 to get $500 off the guaranteed admissions offering. If you're not ready to start right now, definitely check out our podcast and blog. So those are all free resources that we have on our website that anyone can access. So there's lots of helpful information for you to get started. Okay, so just before I let you guys go, I just wanted to go through a couple questions that I get asked pretty often in the strategy calls, okay? So the first one that I get a lot would be, can I transfer US college credits to schools in Europe? So usually it's a little bit more challenging to transfer credits, okay? Business programs would be more likely to accept credits from an American school, but for the most part, students have to restart their degree. The reason for this is that, the degrees are a bit shorter. They might only be 3 years and they dive right into the program. So all the courses that you'd be taking would be specific to that program. So it can be a little bit more difficult to get gen ed type courses that you would have done in the US transferred over. With that being said, it's always worth it to reach out to these admissions offices and to the international student offices to see if there's anything that they can do. You never know. But generally speaking, it wouldn't be as straightforward to get your credits transferred over. What's the timeline for applying in Europe? So I get this question pretty often as well, and the thing is, it's different from the US as well in that every school and every country would have different timelines. So a lot of early bird deadlines would be starting in the fall. So if you wanted to apply early, which we always suggest that you do, you might want to start looking at submitting your application from October, November, even December, okay? Some schools offer rolling admissions, so you might be able to apply later in the year, but we always suggest to try to go for early bird deadlines if you can. And then some countries like Sweden actually stops accepting international applications from January. So you always need to check directly with the school and with the country requirements because it's so varied. Will this degree in Europe transfer and be recognized if I decide to return to the US? So all of our degrees that we have in our database and all the schools that we work with offer degrees that would be recognized in the US. So they're all accredited, they're all recognized, so there would be no problem with coming back to the US to work or to go to graduate school. One thing I might point out though is anything where you would need licensure. So it could be architecture, medicine, or nursing. You can, of course, study in Europe and come back to the US, but you would have additional hoops you would need to jump through when you came back, okay? Because typically if you're studying, let's say a nursing program in Hungary, they would not be preparing you for the US nursing exam. So it's not uncommon for students to get their degrees abroad and then come back and maybe take up to a year off sometimes to prepare for these special licensure exams in the US. Does Beyond the States help with the application process? So we actually don't do anything to help you guys with the actual application process, okay? Once it's time for you to apply, it's usually the international student office of this school that will take over. So they have dedicated officers who are there to help international students go through the application process. The international student office can also help you with, your student visas if you need one, okay? So they're a really great resource. So they'll kind of take over from us once we've helped you find the right program. And how does housing work in Europe? So some schools will have dorms available, but they are very uncommon. So it's a lot more common for students to actually rent shared apartments in European cities. There are student residences that you guys can look into as well. So these would be residences where only students can stay. You usually stay for the academic year and you can get usually a room in a shared apartment with other students. So Facebook is a good resource to look. Like if you're going to Prague, for example, you can try to join the Facebook group called International Students in Prague, and there might be apartment listings there. The International Student Office of the school would be a good resource as well to help you guys find the right place to look for housing. Okay, so that's it for the webinar today. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to leave this here so you have all of our contact information if you want to follow us on any of our platforms or send us an email. We're happy to help you with all of your questions, okay? Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.